Hey crafty friends, welcome to Christmas in July. We are going to hop straight into this video with tons of Christmas inspiration. I found this mirror on the side of the road for free. And initially I spray painted the middle of it with clear matte by Rust-Oleum because I thought I was going to paint the middle of it like the inspiration piece. However, once it was done, I decided, you know what? I love that frosty look. I'm going to keep it as is. So I'm going to take Farm Fresh and I'm going to give it two coats. One messy coat, and then I'm going to do my second coat stippled on. I'm going to take Golden Ticket, which I feel like I've been dipping into a lot lately, and we are going to coat our holly poinsettia mold. I don't know what it is. And all of our ornaments in this Golden Ticket. Now, you guys, like I said, the seasonal molds and a lot of other molds, I will be offering the castings themselves. So not the mold, but the actual casting resin pieces in their sets. Those will be available on my website. Go ahead and check that out in the description box. So I loved the color theme that our inspiration had. So I decided to stick with Farm Fresh. I'm going to paint the little berries in this with Farm Fresh, and I am going to do two coats of that. Now for this bigger mold right here, I'm going to leave it gold just as is. But with our ornaments, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of water. I mixed it with Farm Fresh, and I'm going to essentially watercolor over it. So if you guys watched my recent video where I made the sunflower trinket container, it's the same concept. So I did not want to completely cover the gold with Farm Fresh and distress it back. I wanted this to look very vintage. You know the vintage ornaments that are matte, but they're shiny? Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? That is what I envisioned for these. So I'm going to coat all of them with our watered down Farm Fresh. And then you will see, look at how gorgeous those look when they dry. Then I wanted to bring just a little bit of that bright gold back out. So I'm just grabbing a wet baby wipe and I'm distressing over any of the high points of my ornament molds. I'm going to set those to the side. And then I'm going to grab my frame. I'm going to take that Golden Ticket once again, and I am going to just brush it on the outer detail. I'm not like completely covering it. I'm just lightly giving it a brush. And then just like I do with my gold wax, I am taking that Golden Ticket, dipping my finger in, dabbing it off on a paper towel, and then rubbing on those details. I didn't want to take a chance of that Golden Ticket getting in the nooks and crannies, so I thought I would rub it on. Now I'm taking my buttery clear DIY wax and I am going to brush that on all of my ornaments and the bigger piece that I painted the berries on. If we would have just used Golden Ticket, we would have been done. But since we put that watered down paint over this, we do need to seal that paint. And look at, those are looking good, girl. Oh my gosh, I love them. All right, so I took that painter's tape off, y'all, and when I did, it peeled off some of that frosty goodness. So I worked with it. I made it work. So what I did was I took some nail polish remover on a paper towel, and you have to press hard. You could see I was doing it and nothing was happening. So I had to press a little harder into that, but I am going to distress the mirror. I'm now going to make it look old. I didn't want to completely paint over it. I loved the frosty color, so I took another route. After I distressed it down, I'm going to take that Golden Ticket once again, and I'm just going to feather that on to make it kind of look like an aged old mirror, or at least that's what I was going for. Now again, we're going to take the Tite Bond and we are going to apply that to our molds. We're also going to do the hot glue, and I'm going to apply this one first. That way I know where I want to set up my molds. And y'all, this felt like it took me 5 hours to decide where I wanted to put these ornaments. But after that 5 hours, I was set. So again, Type Bond, I was going to say super glue, but hot glue. And then I found these adhesive, I don't know what they're called. Adhesive, what does it say on that label? I can't read it. Okay. I took these adhesive, like sparkly strips from Dollar Tree, and I cut one strand of it off. Sorry you're seeing my head. I had to get all up in this. And I just held it up to the ornament to see how long I needed, peeled the back off, got some tweezers, and then I put those on there, and these look so good. There was a light gold and like a darker gold. I chose the lighter gold, and y'all, check this out. Oh my gosh. Is that not so regal and so beautiful? I am so glad I came across that inspiration pic, because this is gorgeous. And these are the things that like you look at and you assume are going to be hard to do. But honestly, you guys, this was not a hard DIY to do, especially because the base of almost all the molds was just gold. And I love the way the matte on the watercoloring turned out for us. Comment down below. So these next ones, super easy peasy. I got these at Dollar Tree. They're, what are they, like ceramic glass? I don't know. They're breakable. Okay. And I'm just going to take these stickers off of the back of them. And these babies look so high end. I love them. Can't tell you if I got them recently because you guys know I have a hoard going on. So I'm going to take some of these transfers. And at first I thought I was going to layer with all different transfers. I decided against it. I'm going to take this vintage Santa for the tag. And again, once you stick it, it ain't coming off. And then I'm going to burnish it. And then for the round one, sisters, IOD sisters, can you please make a big version of this? If you guys watch my videos, a big version of this tree for next year. Oh my gosh. I would have put this thing on everything. This tree is stunning. I'm going to take that twine off because I end up putting a different piece of twine on it later. And then I'm just picking out the green that I want to paint these resin pieces in. So for the Santa one, I'm going to use gypsy green. And then for the Christmas tree, I'm going to use aviary. You'll see. I'm not going to make you watch me paint all of this. Now I'm going to take this little jewel piece. This is for our Christmas tree, and I paint it red, and then I get some wax and do the outside in gold because the tree has some like white gold in there. And now to accessorize our ornaments, we are going to glue our pieces on. Now, Type Bond, you might think it's just a wood glue, but it's not. It actually adheres to many surfaces, including glass. So I'm going to take my Type Bond wood glue, or all-purpose glue, I'll say, and I'm just going to brush that on the back of these resin pieces, and that is how we're going to accessorize them. And it just gives it a little bit more dimension. It just makes it look a little bit more bougier, you know. I love it. Just let them set up. They dry so fast, and look at how cute they turned out. Again, a very simple idea, but we just jazzed it up and took it up a notch by adding just those little tiny pieces to them. And it just makes it a little bit more special. You guys, look at that tree. Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart. How beautiful these are. Oh, I hope that one you liked, you guys. All right, we're going to start out with this. I want to say this is a 2x10, and I'm going to take Liquid Patina's Dark and Decrepit. This could be used as wood stain, a glaze, or even a decoupage medium. Today, we're using it as a stain. So I am just brushing it off, wiping the excess off, and the best part about this is it dries so ridiculously fast. So right after I'm done with that, I'm going to take my painter's tape and I'm going to frame out our wood. I want to paint the inside of the wood and leave my actual wood grain as like the framed part of my sign. After that, I'm going to grab a white swan and I am going to put 2 coats of paint on here. Once that is dried, we are going to jump into these wood plank stamps, you guys. I've had these in my stash forever. and I've never played around with them. And I was like, you know what? We are going to try them out. So these come with several different grains and cuts of wood images and the knots. So the first one I'm taking, we're going to grab our black ink and I'm going to ink that baby up and I'm going to turn it around and we are going to stamp it over the white. So you guys, this looks so good. Look at that. And then I'm just going to follow it up by putting a little bit of ink on the bottom, and then we'll get the ends of that as well. I'm also going to grab, there's like 2 different knots that come in here, and we're gonna just layer that on top, and you guys, I just love this. I don't know why I waited so long to use them. And look at those clean lines. That's the best part. Now I'm going to take these transfers. I'm sorry, you guys, I don't have these. They're no longer available, but I couldn't just waste them because they're not available anymore. So I am using some of the IOD transfers from last year, and I'm going to take this little berry pick and I'm going to push that down and lift it up. Of course, we are going to burnish that baby, so we make sure that it is on our sign and not going anywhere. And then I'm going to take this bird. What's nice about transfers, regardless of which one you have, is that they allow you to layer things on top of each other so you can really create your own designs and preferences with them. So after I put the bird on, look at how it just looks like one image. Now I'm going to take a little clothespin. We're going to take dark and decrepit once again, and we're going to stain that up so that it matches the wood as well. I took some brown cardstock, ripped the tops off of it, and then I'm going to take typesetting stamp. This comes with numbers and uppercase and lowercase lettering. I'm going to take 25, and then I'm going to take the winter adornment stamp. I'm going to stamp our numbers on first, and then I'm going to accessorize with the filigree of the winter adornment stamp. Now, I made this as kind of like a grown-up countdown to Christmas calendar, but you can use it, and my inspiration, which I will show you in the end, they put like quote cards on there. So you could put Bible verses, you could even put pictures or Christmas cards, completely up to you. I will be selling this sign as is without this, like the numbers, okay? So after I do that, I'm going to put it on the little clothespin just so I have never mind, you guys, I'm not doing that yet. I cleared it with Big Top. Now I'm putting that clothespin on there with some Titebond and wood glue. I made sure to attach that cardstock so I can kind of see where I needed to put it. And this is how it ended up. Is this not the coolest thing ever? I love it. And that wood grain is fire. Oh my God. You guys comment with 25 down below if you love this one. And this is the picture on Pinterest. I am going to take my gingerbread people. I do have these resin people for mold as well, the entire set. And I mixed my Summer Crush with faded burlap like I do for the terracotta paint that I like. But after they started drying, I was like, oh, okay. These look like terracotta people, not gingerbread people. So then this is where mixing a million colors comes in play. I tried putting layered chocolate in there, sandy blonde, and then I added a bunch more Summer Crush, but I finally got the color I was looking for. So you can see right here, definite change of color, and it was perfect in my eyes. So these were surprisingly easy to paint. They are bigger, and I feel like getting in like the nooks, like right there by his little bow tie and stuff, it was rather easy. I will say, y'all, if you have eyes that are not good, put your glasses on, because this detail stuff, it strains your eyes, that's for sure. So I'm going to paint his bottoms in layered chocolate. And then you guys, I also do the little dog off camera. And I don't know why, but I did not paint him gingerbread color. I painted him in the brown. So he's going to be a burnt little doggy. Now for her dress, we're going to use faded burlap. And I think Southern Aries gingerbread people spoke to me because usually the gingerbread stuff is not my jam. And I think that's because they use the bright red traditional colors, which I don't usually use in my decor. And I was not a fan of the gingerbread molds, in all honesty, until I saw her work and it spoke to me. And I think it was the neutral colors that piqued my interest and how beautiful they were based off of that. So this is where you guys, the eyes come in. And this is where, you're like, oh my gosh, this could either go so wrong and I'm totally going to ruin my gingerbread people right now, or it could go right. And fortunately for me, it went right. You just need to be patient and you need to go slowly. And lucky for us, these molds do have a lot of detail in them. I did paint the bracelets in crinoline. So there's actually, so right here where I'm doing the inside of the eye with layered chocolate, there is detail right there where it shows you exactly where that should be. So it makes it a little easier, but nonetheless, you do have to be patient and take your time when doing these. Now, for her eyelashes, I don't know how Southern Airy did it because I just dusted that stuff on like I was putting eyeshadow on her and hoping for the best, like it wasn't going to be a mess. And it didn't. It came out okay, you guys. It was all okay. All right. So to change mine up a little bit, I decided to go with French Millinery, which is a very soft, beautiful purple. And I'm going to do our little burnt to a crisp doggy as little sweater in it. This one comes with like two little gingerbread people, like two kids, and then some candy as well. All right, so now we are clearing our gingerbread people with Big Top. And next I'm going to take our white wax. Now she used a watered down white concoction like I did with the Farm Fresh paint, but with DIY's buttery white wax, I knew I would get the same look without having to do that. So I just stipple this on, and this is just going to look like our cookies are dusted with flour, and then I wipe the excess off. And y'all are going to be shook when you see these up close because the details in these will just blow your mind. And I'll show you what I'm talking about later. Now I'm going to take this ribbon. You are going to put it in a little shape, like almost like a breast cancer ribbon. And then you push the back behind and you're going to cinch them together. So you're pinching it together in the middle. Now I'm going to take a piece of twine as I'm holding that bow down, and I'm going to pull that tight. This is probably the easiest bow you can ever make. Then I'm going to cut some dovetails. I do have actually a real-time bow tutorial. I will try and remember to leave that in the description box for y'all. And we are going to hot glue that to the little gal's head. Now, I don't know if she used hers as ornaments or not, but I thought these would be absolutely adorable as magnets. I mean, it goes right in the kitchen. So I am going to use a Dollar Tree magnet for the back of the little dog. And then I had these heavy duty magnets that have adhesive on them. And I'm going to put those on the bigger gingerbread people. I think these are in my Amazon store link in the description box. And this is how they turned out, you guys. I'm in love with these. I think I might keep them myself and then let the kids decorate the little ones and then have a little family on the fridge for the holidays. But this, I love the traditional, not the traditional, the muted colors on these because they don't have to just be for Christmas. This would be such a great gift for a baker in your life. This paper, y'all, this is from TDS, okay? I'm going to leave Brandy's link down in the description box once again. And again, I want to remind you that she designs all of this herself and she gets it printed herself. So it's a great opportunity to support a small business. So I'm taking 2 of the pieces of paper. And the reason I'm doing this is because I wanted the Victorian lady, I wanted her whole body in there, but since she was focused on the right, I couldn't do that. So I'm going to layer. So I'm pushing my paper into this little steak platter here. And that way I could get an outline of where I need to cut. Once I get that cut out, I'm going to take crinoline, and crinoline is like an off-white. It's almost like if you use Waverly Paints cashew, but without that yellow, can I talk today? Yellow undertone. Now I'm gonna grab it and paint the back of my decoupage paper. And if y'all are like, what are you doing? I am doing this because since I'm layering on top of another print, I don't want that print coming through my decoupage paper. So we're gonna paint it. I do dry it with my heat gun, does totally fine. And then I'm gonna set that to the side and go ahead and adhere my base paper. And you guys, I know we don't want to do this on repeat, but we are going to take our liquid patina. We are going to put that on the bottom, whatever is left over on your brush. You're going to brush that on top, and we're going to carry that all the way down. Now we are going to put on a show, and we are going to cut this lady out. I wanted to try and leave that beautiful Christmas tree that's behind her, but it just wasn't working for me. So I cut her entire image out without the Christmas tree. And then later we're going to use the cardinal that's in that image as well. And just like we did with the base layer, we're just taking some liquid patina and placing it behind her and then layering it on top of her. And we're going to do that all the way down. This worked out perfectly. None of the decoupage paper was showing through like her skin tone or the white in her dress, because we painted it and we blocked that from happening. Now I'll add that little cardinal. We had to add her friend. Oh, and I named her Scarlet. So you're welcome, Brandy. She's beautiful and she was my favorite. So now, you guys know I'm extra. I don't even know why I have to say it anymore, but this needed more detail. So I grabbed liquid patina in gold, and Golden Ticket will be restocked probably within another week or so, you guys. And I just lined the frame with it. Now I'm going to take my resin pieces. Now, if you guys have been ordering these, they are available on the website now. They will come in either clear or white. One is not better than the other. They are the exact same thing, just sometimes I have different resin on hand and they paint the same way. So I used Monet's Garden for the leaves, which is a beautiful deep green traditional Christmas color, and then Marquee. Now keep in mind, if you are ordering the red paints, Marquee is going to be your truest of like Christmas reds, and then Carnival Red is going to have a pink undertone. So please keep that in mind when ordering your red paints. Once I'm done with that, I fully clear this with Big Top, and it wouldn't be a video without gold wax. So I'm just gonna put that on my finger, and then I really try to like buff it in there, like I push it hard so that it's not just sitting on top of the detail. See how I kind of go back in there and push it around? That way it really spreads on top of those leaves. I'm going to apply some Tite Bond to those and then some hot glue as well. And we're just going to add those on the corner just to add a little bit more of that Christmas touch. And these did not disappoint whatsoever. This piece was light enough that I felt comfortable just hot gluing a sawtooth hanger on the back. However, last year I made something with one of these, and I just, gosh, dandruff, I just used it as a in my bookshelf, like propped up. But look at how gorgeous, gorga, this turned out. This paper is so beautiful. Again, I will leave the TDS decoupage paper link down in the description box for you. And I love the little added details of the molds. They always make such a big difference. Now, stopping in, y'all, to remind you that you can find mostly all of the products that I use in my videos on my website, unicorndustdesigns.com. It's always going to be linked in the description box for you. I have tons of things from thrifted items, resin castings, my paints, decoupage paper, and IOD products. I do want to remind you guys that I have up top here, oh, you can't even see it, to allow 2 weeks for shipping. I have a newborn right now, so this just allows me a little grace period to get your items out. All right, you guys, enjoy the rest of the video. Little teapot. This is more modern. I used it for a dupe video, and what was great was it was already spray painted white for me. So I am going to take Marquee and I am going to paint the top knob, the spout, and the handle. I am currently out of Marquee, y'all, but just give me about 6 days max. They usually ship pretty fast. And I will be back in stock of Marquee and liquid patina. I do have the 16 ounce, but I don't have 8. So like I said, we're going to do the top knob. I'm going to do the spout. Now, obviously, the picture, the inspiration picture, they used a vintage teapot or antique silver teapot. This is a lot more modern, but I have to say it still came out super cute. So I'm going to do the handle as well. I don't do the metal part on the handle, just the wood. I'm going to take my candy cane transfer, the exact same one in the inspiration photo. Now, I know a lot of people couldn't get their hands on this transfer booklet, so you guys Google, search Google, print out an image on to some tissue paper and decoupage that paper right on there, and it'll look fabulous. So on a curved surface, you just got to hold that puppy down and go slow. You might have some little cracks in your transfer, but it is hardly noticeable. But they are fairly easy to do on curved surfaces because they still have some tack to them. I'm going to burnish that down. Then I'm going to grab a little drop of some clear wax and buff that in to my transfer. I will wipe the excess off, and then to finish this off, I'm going to get Big Top and I'm going to clear all of that marquee. And here is how she turned out. For being a more modern teapot, I honestly think that this looks super cute, and not everybody likes the vintage vibe. However, that vintage one, the details are so beautiful. But I do like how mine turned out. What do you guys think about this more modern take on the teapot? The colors are on fire. Our next one is this wood sign I scored at Savers. It was actually only $3.99. And at first I started with tarnished pearl, but realized that was going to take me 5 coats to cover. So I grabbed Prairie Gray, and I'm going to use that as my base coat to hide all of this lettering. I like to do this so that I don't have to go in with 5 coats of white. Okay, so now you can see that is dried. We are going to use, this one is like saw cuts. That's what the panel of wood looks like. So I primed it because I've never used these before. So I went in with my sanding block, and then we're going to go in with stone gray. I start in my middle because this one has like the lines. See how the lines are there? So it looks like shiplap planks almost. And we're going to just follow the lines, butt them up together, and then press down again. I'm going to do the same thing for the left side of this sign as well. Look at that. I didn't show you, but I put the little knots in there too, of course. Now I'm going to take this berry wreath, also an old transfer, and again, I'm going to push down as I lift up on this transfer. Keep in mind, you guys, you could use like the winter adornment stamp for this. You can use decoupage paper, napkins. These are all for inspirational purposes. After I'm done burnishing that down to ensure it's there, I shut off my camera and was not filming, but I will use these stamps later and show you how to layer them. But what I saw was when I stamped these, when I stamped over the transfer, it gave it this weird glossy blotchiness of the ink, which was really odd to me. So after it completely dried, I did try clearing it with Big Top to see if it would take that away at all, but it did not. So you'll see right here, I'm going to apply Big Top to, obviously you want to seal your transfer, although the ink is permanent, go ahead and seal that, and then your paint as well. Maybe if I would have used a glossy clear coat, it would have hit it a little bit more, but to be honest, it all looks good. It doesn't look bad. It was just a little bit of a learning curve that maybe I should have cleared my entire project first and then stamped it, and then maybe I wouldn't have gotten that like glossy ink finish on there. But regardless, I think it looks good. It was an easy project to do, and I am having so much fun with this wood grain stamp. It is so awesome to use. All right, you guys, we got this rusty, crusty, beautiful dustpan at Lewisburg Market Street. My girl Jackie hooked me up, and it was only $1. I wanted to make sure that I sealed this, so I took clear salvation solution, and I'm going to clear the entire thing. I wanted to clear it, one, because it was rusty, and two, because I didn't want to risk the rust or any grime coming through my decoupage paper once I placed it down. So again, I'm going to clear this entire thing. I forgot to paint the base white, and you'll see what happens with that. I'm going to grab the Christmas, this one's just called Christmas Masterboard. The other one is Neutral Masterboard. And I'm just going to cut around the dustpan to start off. I need to give myself a smaller piece of the paper to work with here. Once I get that cut, then I'm going to do the same thing that I did with like that steak plate, and I'm going to push that paper in so that I can cut it out. Once it's out, voila, the same step as the other three. Placing some liquid patina. I did miss this one with water because it had grooves in the dustpan, so it just made it easier to get down in there. Now, as you can see, when I am putting this on, that dark color is coming through. Now, it's not going to stay dark like that, but if I would have put a white or crinoline or something down first, my paper would be popping a lot more. So you'll see right here as I start applying heat to it, the paper is lightening back up. This is how it looks when it's completely dry. So you can see, you could still see like that dark coming through, which it worked out. I mean, it's a rusty, crusty piece, so I guess it doesn't need to be vibrant, but it definitely changes the look. Now I'm going to take some leftover little pine needle things, and I'm going to hot glue them to the top of our dustpan. Add these beautiful dark blueberries that came out of a Dollar Tree pick. And I'm also going to add some Dollar Tree flowers. I promise the whole florals on top will make sense once you see the whole paper and it together. So this is how it turned out. I think this is super cute. It's like cottage core woodland, and that's what I also love about this paper is that it's not like super Christmas. It's more woodland winter theme, which I love. I hope you guys got inspired by this video. So I took these, you guys, I have had these little soup bowls. They had like an old carriage scene in like pink and blue on them. I spray painted them with like a cashew color, and I did the worst spray painting job ever. There were drips all over it, as you can tell, but that worked out to my advantage because I want them to look like crockery. So I am taking the color Crockery by JRV Cottage Colors. Now these paints are amazing because they are 2-in-1. They are paint and sealer in one. So we do not have to clear this or wax it with anything after it dries. So I'm going to give both of these vessels 2 coats of the crockery paint. Once that is dried, I am pulling out the crockery stamps. When's the last time y'all seen me use these? These were actually the first set of stamps Vonda ever sent me from IOD. So it was really cool getting them out and playing around with them again. So I decided I was going to use 1 crockery stamp and 1 number stamp. So I put it on my little placement card there, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to put it on and how we're going to make this work on the curved surface. So I am going to place that on there, hold it in the middle, and then I'm going to push it down on the right side and then the left. Now it didn't turn out perfect, but that's okay because aged crockery isn't perfect. So I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to take the typesetting stamp. This stamp, you guys, has uppercase, lowercase, and numbers in it. So it's a great stamp set to have in your stash. So I'm going to put that 3 on, put our IOD permanent ink in black. I pressed a little too hard on this stamp, so like the ink kind of like gushed out a little bit, but that's all right. That's okay. It still worked. Now I'm going to take my green floral foam. I prefer this foam rather than the harder foam. It's just harder to stick things on. We're not even sticking anything in it. Anyways, I cut the corners off. I am hot gluing this time. If you guys saw my last bottle brush video, I did not glue anything inside my vessels, but that is because they were vintage and I did not want to ruin them. These, however, were not worth any money. So I felt totally fine hot gluing the foam in there. Now I'm going to take Spanish moss that my sweet friend Lisa sent me because I still cannot find it in my stores. I'm going to wrap that around. You could also use loose snow, just loose snow is not my jam. I'm going to keep the bases on these trees, put some hot glue, and I'm going to hot glue them to the floral foam. I'm going to do that with both of these, and this is how they turned out. These little faux crocs are so cute. That JRV crockery color is mwah, chef's kiss. And you can find things like these at the thrift store so easily. You might even have some in your cabinets that you have not used in years. So pull them out and have fun with this DIY. Okay, this one, my friends, we're going to take some brass candle holders. I love mixing my brass candle holders up and I like putting them in sets of 3. However, you can do whatever you want. I do actually have all of these available on my website right now too. But I don't want to damage any of my brass candle holders. So I have a phobia about commitment, and committing to putting hot glue in one of these is just not happening. Okay. So we are going to do temporary, and we're going to put floral foam in the middle of these. And I am just using, just like these scrap pieces, these really little pieces, and I'm just stuffing them in there. I am going to just use my finger and kind of get it in like a little circle there. And then I'm going to stuff that. And again, this is for, you can totally do whatever you want to your candlesticks, but this is just for temporary use. I don't want to damage them. So we are going to take the base off of our beautiful flocked Christmas trees. You just twist them on off. I'll probably show you in another video, or in this video, but a different DIY. And then we are just going to stick these right in there. That's it. That's it. You're just sticking them in there. And then we're going to do, what other one? I wanted to do these beautiful little tiered one. And this one has a longer little wire stem. And this has a longer, I don't know, flute neck. I don't know what it's called, you guys. And I'm going to put that in there. Now that is too high. So take our little wire cutters. I'm going to cut some of that off. I don't want it sticking up. I want it like sitting on top, which it still is not. So I'm going to cut it off a little bit more. Remember, I don't need it permanent. Yeah, I lied. So this isn't permanent, the floral foam. But I am going to put some hot glue on this like stick itself and put it in the floral foam. Again, this isn't adhered to the actual brass candle holder. Come on, stay there. Side note, my friends, I realize it's actually better to hot glue the little stems and put it in the floral foam because it came out in one piece. Oh, Tinkerbell. These, I had to like scrape out the floral foam since I didn't connect the stems with hot glue. Now again, I'm not hot gluing this. Remember, this was just in there, and then I hot glued the stem. So this is the way to go. After the mess of trying to explain that to you guys, this is how they turned out. I don't know if any of y'all saw my Halloween decor, but I love incorporating these brass candle holders into my bookshelves. And this is going to look so beautiful on my mantle during the holidays. I hope that it inspired you guys as well.